the issues that we have here are just about 2 or 3. There are people who have done automatic self-placement. We did the automatic placement for them. And they are people who selected their own schools, 5 choices, and we've placed them in one of them. But for most of them, they want to come around and then see if they could change, because maybe they didn't get their first choice or they didn't get their second choice. But at least they had one of their choices. Okay. Now, for them, what we are saying is that once it is your own choice, you cannot change. Now, then we have those who come in here who say, I am day, but I want to do boarding. What we're saying is that you can't change. If for any reason we will change for you, then we are going to give you a comparable school in the area where you live, so that you still go and do your day. Okay. Now, then the next group of students or candidates and applicants that we have here are those who are supposed to do their self-placement. For self-placement, you really does not need to come here to do self-placement, because the machine on which you realize that you have not been placed, when you go back on that same machine, you can do your self-placement. Okay. So you don't really need to come here. But if you come in here, we'll give you the list of schools that you can select from, and then we expect that they go back, look for a computer and then internet, and then do that self-placement. So those are the issues. Now, yesterday, I believe we had the situation that we had yesterday because we did not work here on Monday, on Saturday and Sunday. So being the first day of the week, we expected a lot of people to come around, to come and see what was going on and how they could get their things done. Now today, from the experience of yesterday, we were going to close the place up. But when we came here in the morning, we realized that people had already come to sleep here and are queuing and things like that. So what we've done is that, just as I said, we have put them in the problem areas or the issue areas. So if you look up there, it's one issue. If you look here, there's one issue here. There's another group in that order. So based on the issue that you are bringing, you go to the various places. And I think now everything is working. And we are thankful that it is working. They have listened to us. But let me also put it on record that we need to acknowledge the eagerness and the enthusiasm for people to want to be part of the system. Everybody wants to take advantage of the president's free SHS program. And that is also some of the reasons why you see people thronging here to make sure that they get schools. We are not changing schools. It is part of your selection, which you did yourself. If for any reason you want to change from day to a boarding school, it won't happen. But if you want to change from day to day, then we could get you to a closer place. If, for example, you've chosen a day school in Volta region and you want a day school in Eastern region, that one, when you get to them, they will note it down, and then we'll get you a closer school, a school that is closer to you, that you can still do your day as is required. Okay, just before I let you go, I've spoken to some of the people who have gone through this procedure and are leaving. They say they've been asked to expect a phone call by Friday to know which of the schools exactly their wards are going. What if they do not get their phone calls? Some of them seem unsure. They will get it before Friday, on or before Friday. As we speak now, the 122,000 who were supposed to do self-placement, we have less than 40,000 now who have not done self-placement. So in spite of all the issues that we are talking about, a lot of people are doing the self-placement and they are on it. So I believe that by Friday, as we're saying, probably the numbers may have come down to maybe 20,000 or.
It's still the issues with a computerized school selection and placement system for senior high school students, and that's what the director of the Ghana Education Service was addressing with my colleague Komla Adom. It started Monday, continued on Tuesday. Parents and guardians as well as students converging at the Black Star Square because they've got many challenges with this placement system. So Komla is in the studio. Roland, also you went there on Monday and Tuesday yesterday, so the two of you. But Komla, you reported that later in the day, yesterday was organized.
Yes.
Yeah. Maybe I should go back to Monday. Roland, you went there earlier in the day. What did you find?
Well, you could find that people were massing up, but there was already a bigger number. And apparently they'd been there since the last week. The last week, so the weekend, many people spent the time there. And so by the early part of half past 7, you could find
on Monday
the numbers around 3,000, 3,000 or about.
Yeah.
But it's also because they've been told, apparently, when you have the interaction with them, that from their locales, the education office and then the school heads always told them to come to Accra. So that is their Accra.
Okay. Komla, was it a similar situation for you, at least on Monday when you took over?
The numbers grew significantly from what he mentions. I mean, even a footpath was difficult to find the time I got there, because at this point the students and the parents were cramming at the center, the entrance of the solution center, everybody wanting to have their way into the room to begin to get their process, their challenges addressed. So just at the entrance area, I could count hundreds of people, and then there are also other hundreds who have been asked to sit in the stands. So those who didn't have placements at all have been told to sit in one stand. Those who had placements but want to change because of, say, courses that they were offered are also in another stand. Those who also wanted to change their residential status from maybe day to boarding also had to sit in one stand. So that the categorization was clear. But then there were many others who, as Roland mentioned, had been there over the weekend and had queued all the way through. So they were almost rushing to be the first to get the opportunity to get in and then to present their challenges to get solutions to them. So it was a survival of the fittest, essentially. People walking over each other, pushing and shoving all over the place.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
But I have to add that in the early hours of Monday, the officials, because they hadn't worked during the weekend, were not there early enough, and perhaps maybe they didn't visit.
So I was just going to ask, what's the time that they've dedicated for this? Is it like 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. kind of thing?
So
yes, it's a normal reporting time for a public office. Yes.
But the interesting thing is that on Monday they closed by midday. So at midday there was an announcement to the public address system that they had closed for the day, and they didn't explain why they had closed, but then they asked the numbers to come the next day to come and attempt another time to get.
Did they leave? Because you were there for a while.
They did not leave immediately. I mean, many of them were bent on spending the night there. You know, they would not, because know that they had spent the weekend there anyway. And so once you've spent the weekend, Saturday, Sunday at the venue, and you are told again on Monday to come the next day, there was absolutely nowhere to go, because many of them had come from the northern parts of the country, the Volta region, OT region, and all these other places already. So they were just bent on spending the night there to try another time the next day. So
and indeed, Roland, you saw some of them the following morning, which was yesterday, Tuesday. And it was obviously they had slept there.
They had slept there.
In fact, we did a story. Latif was there in the evening from about 7 p.m. And they actually had a service, a church service, because they needed to while away the time while they were there.
So they were praying?
So they were praying, they were singing, they were sort of seeking the face of God for some intervention the day after, which was the Tuesday.
And then we also had the unfortunate incidents of people collapsing.
Yes, they passed out because of the close nature of the people, because it was a crowd, it was heated, especially when the numbers racked up to about 3,000, 4,000, and closer to the entrance of the office, because the office is located on the first floor of the arch. So you could find that they were crammed, there was the heat.
But you have to take the stairs to get there, right?
Yes. Yeah. And then many of them had not eaten. They had come maybe 3 a.m., 4 a.m., and they hadn't eaten. And within that milieu of all that had happened, definitely it means that you could pass out. And initially, I on location was seeing people at the time I was having the interaction. And I thought that maybe it was just one of those hoax things that during such events, such chaos, you could find people just reporting. And ultimately, I got to find one closer to me, and we even filmed it initially on that morning of the Monday.
Yeah, and when I took over from Roland, I saw at least 3 students who passed out and a parent during the near stampede. I do not know what occasioned the stampede, but while I was doing a live for midday, I just realized there was a confusion at the back there somewhere. Before I knew it, people were asking people to just make way because somebody had fallen unconscious, and there was no ambulance at the time the first person fell off. And so they were looking for the nearest private vehicle which was available to convey the person to the hospital. It took some time. It took a few good minutes, more than 10 minutes, because they had to rush the person through the crowd of people to an open area, find the young lady. Her top was almost off because they needed to create some air space around the place, and so they found her pouring water on her before the ambulance arrived, and then took her to the hospital. That was the first incident. So it happened just in a space of, say, 45 minutes. So you find these people at different places. So the second person also fell off somewhere in the queue, not so close to the entrance of the solution center, and she was also a young lady, but she was sporting a black top.
But did I hear later on that people were faking the collapse?
That is what we're hearing. Yesterday, the education minister on Ekusisa mentioned that some of the incidents of collapse were staged, and he mentioned specifically that some opposition elements sponsored these individuals, gave them 20 CDs, 50 CDs, bussed them there, in fact, to stage these things to create a bad image or a bad impression of the exercise.
But we have to mention it was the children that were fainting initially, and logically you could find that it was something that was possible. For the first 2 days, the security presence was poor, and as a result there was no control, and once there's no control, definitely means that it's always indiscriminate and haphazard, and ultimately that's what we saw. We also got to find that ultimately the officials know what to do the first day, and even towards the early part of the second, they just didn't know what to do, because there were few. There was just a policeman or 2 or a couple of them there, and so it was something they hadn't envisaged. But I don't know. I think there was some line, a poor line of communication, because if you interact with the individual parent and the pupils, they're told that they go to the regional centers or the educational office of the regional centers, and they tell you come to Accra. The school heads also direct you to come to Accra. And that's a big problem. Ultimately, we're hoping that we'll find some solution the next year.
Yeah, well, but there was a better organized event, if I may put it, yesterday.
Yes.
Komla?
Yes.
Later in the day at least.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was better managed, better coordinated, because when we got there, about 25 police officers had created a barricade, sort of, and they had manned it, and I directed the individual to stay put wherever they've been asked to sit. And so they go and bring them in batches of 20 and bring them, usher them into the solution center area where the officials, about 4 or 5 officials were seated, and then you go to each person, they take your needs, your challenges, they address it specifically, and then you move. Once that is exhausted, they go back and bring another set of 20. So it was sort of better organized, better managed, and it looks like information was better disseminated yesterday as opposed to the other days that the exercise was ongoing. Also, Mavi, they had to post notices, a list of schools that were available, that had available vacancies for people
around the square.
Around the square, so that the parents and the children can go and then select 2 schools out of that list and then note them down. So when it's their turn and you get to the solution center, you present it that these are the schools you've chosen. And then they begin to, fast track the process for you. After that process, they are told that they should expect a phone call by Friday to know which of the 2 schools is available for them to take their awards. We
started off this conversation with the GS Director General because he had visited the place yesterday. I saw quite a number of officials, Ghana Education Service officials there on the ground. What role were they really playing? Because there was the office that was created to deal with this issue, or the issues coming up. But the other officials we saw go in there, what were their roles, for instance? So the GS director, for instance, what did he go there to do?
So let me speak first. On Monday, Cassandra Chumampo for the PRO came there. Because of the numbers and the shoving and the pushing and the lack of information for the many of the parents and the students who were there. So the the GES director, PRO, was now sort of speaking to the parents and the students in batches, trying to explain to them what they should have done that they didn't do, and why there was a challenge with the self-placement system because of a hack, and so they had to go back and then do the process all over again. So from that interaction, some of the parents sort of got the understanding that they had to simply go back and then do the process again without necessarily coming to the Independence Square. So that was what she was doing, and other officials on Monday. So yesterday you asked about the Director General. Well, he came there.
But in the morning, did you see any officials, Roland? As you
no,
went there?
no, okay. Usually no. It was business as usual. I think they were treating or have been treating it as a public office, and the public office, like a normal civil service office.
Was that after 8?
Yeah, way after 8. So.
Okay. Yeah.
So Professor Kwesi Opoku-Amankwah was there yesterday, I guess, to just observe and take a situational report of activities of the day so far, because they had given an indication the day before that they were going to offer some solutions to the numbers of people who would attempt to resolve the problems of the young people. So he just came there to sort of get a situational report and then know what next in terms of the numbers of people who are still left to go through the process. In terms of those who have gone through the process so far, we heard him say, for example, that about 120,000 people had issues with their self-placements, but as of yesterday when I was speaking to him, they had just about 40,000 people left. So it means that the backlog is being cleared as the days go by.
Okay, so here's Education Minister who spent time on Ekosi saying on Asempa FM. He touches on quite a number of the issues confronting the placement system. Let's take a listen.
Remember me 85.
85. The SEO Independence Square in Echi.
Obi, the SEO Independence Kwabrani and let's didn't go for good bass for
Independence Square.
Independence Square.
Obi didn't go for good bass. How?
So we may travel to my sister station, no broadcasting. But I don't say you want to.
But that's a serious allegation.
I'm telling you, Kwabrani and Jessica say.
Kwabrani Ben no.
Oh, so Ghana and the infant no made president. Ghana and she the president of Pedi. You non comedy.
Na eno no why no.
Everybody will be everybody be can answer na Ghana.
Eno no the Minister of Education e ka kire Ghana.
The ka be kan no. So obomo ho no. Bebre edum guba so mezi.
No, but the point is say omo aba be gu ho a obi ne ba eye bema yama ne girls school, obi oba yama ne boys school. Obi say obi of aboard in yama ne day. Are those not genuine concerns?
Obi computer dey e ka so obi e bema na obi oba. Ada form ni pa kro failure. And then pa kro ye mistake. So you say computer is gibberish out.
Yes.
School placement contain information from WAEC. From WAEC, so we can notice errors. Obi was a problem Libya. You be the whole job. And you mun trace here. Over trace here. We the 100 bia and we have your kuno. Obanya school. Na pay school na umanya no. Obanya program na pay program no umanya no. Otusu day the day na man. And so say the upper body.
Nadrin assessor. And it cannot be so be na share that swan one big go so omonya de omoye no. They have concern.
They say nipa bebre wo muso a ya bobu pass obey de omoye.
Enti ye nim say wo hwe statistics na said ye waka no nipa bebre na enya placement and almost your mompe Omaba Bigu Independence Square. How that whole thing was managed, especially ENRA, to the extent that you have for be trashy and all of that, no, was it pleasant? Say, Uti Ministry na Uti report na when ije.
TV now. Aja there efe. Name so nim the paponi for so ya. See e sheshedo. Obi last year he fan here no.
Yeah, Independence
one there. We BC. So because I do body when the paponi for be through Chroma.
Okay, so that's the political twist to this whole school selection and placement system. Well, yesterday we did a bit of rounds. We went to the central region. We checked with our colleague Richard Kojonyako, who also talked to us about parents going to some of the schools. There was an initial confusion, guys, and this would later be clarified. There was Vincent from the Ministry of Education who joined us via phone. The issue about those who had, the schools initially receiving a certain list, students, parents visiting and seeing their names there, going to purchase the items and coming back and being told that that initial list had been withdrawn. So there was a new list. Their names were not on that list. I asked if there would be compensation. And I used the example of, I go to Zion College in Angloga. My name is there in the school. This is not my list. My name is there. And
you are given the admission letter and the prospectus.
Exactly. And I go and purchase the items and I come back and then they tell me that, well, that list.
Who do you want to compensate?
Yeah, I mean, but okay, fine. But it's not my, it's not my fault.
Yeah.
It wasn't my mistake. Do you get it?
Wow.
And then I also made the point about this whole free SHS is so it can relieve that burden from parents. You shouldn't be spending money. That's the whole idea.
You know.
So if I have been able to manage to get a little bit to buy the initial items that will get my child to go to school, you're telling me that it was your mistake. So everything that I bought, I have to buy something else.
But the thing is that the ministry and then the placement secretariat says that it was a mistake. So from the 9th, the parents went to the schools, and it's because they had chosen or self-placed, most of them.
Yeah.
So the system is such a way that once it's logged or it's inputted into the GES system, the schools, when they refresh their system, get a list, and that list is the admission or the placement of students for that school.
Yeah. Now who calls some?
So they put the list there. Now, I am thinking, based on my personal experiences with the sector and even having interacted with them, some of the aggregates in relation to the schools that they self-placed, I think the parents should have known that it was not possible for them to get in front of people with a certain aggregate.
What is
but then those schools were available.
Yeah.
At the time they were self-placing.
Yeah.
Sure.
And at the time they gave me the admission, then the heads know that the score that I got I couldn't get admission with that in their facilities. But they went.
Well, the heads have also been cocooned in a certain way, because if you try to impede or tamper with the system,
reject someone, they might report you.
But Mama,
so let me just announce the phone lines, and then you can continue. So you can give us a call if you're parents and you're watching us. You still have issues. We'll try and see how best we can connect you with the authority. So give us a call, 0302-211-6910, 0302-211-69102. Kamala?
So you were talking about the parents who had taken their daughter to school, bought the provisions and everything, and then they get there and they find out that the names that they saw the last time they were there is no more on the list.
It's not even the provisions, It's the uniform and the items specific to that institution.
Okay, so I spoke to this young lady from Diaspora Girls Senior High School at Ibri. So she says they had showed up on campus on Sunday with everything that they've been asked to buy.
Because that was a reporting day, Sunday.
Yes. So they showed up in their numbers, about 500 of them, she told me. And they got admission. They got in, they put their trunks and chop boxes in places. They even slept on campus that night. They went to the dining hall, they had dinner. Only to be told the next morning on Monday that unfortunately another placement list has come, and so those who came on Sunday,
that's even worse.
That's traumatic.
So she was one of those who was at the Independence Square on Monday to attempt to find answers, because then she was still wearing her uniform anyway. So how about that?
I don't
This is unbelievable.
No,
we've had issues with placement, but this year has been exceptional.
Yeah, there's some that just broke my heart. For example, I have an experience, and I'll keep saying this one. The gentleman says Adisadel chose visual arts.
His name was there.
His name was there. On the 9th, they bought everything. And he said on the 9th, that is the list for you to report on Sunday. Okay? Now, whoever will come from the 9th to that Sunday, that's the list you're supposed to come and meet in his mind. And he saw that he had an interaction, or the parents also had an interaction with the head of Adisade or whoever was in charge there. Visual arts, they needed 45 students. The name that was placed there, that will be the reported for green track students, were 27.
Less than the required number.
Exactly. So even if, I'm assuming, he's not supposed to self-place himself there, they still were short of the numbers for visual arts. So who is going to occupy from 27 to 45? Because they were told that Adisadel is taking 90. green track, and gold track for visual arts.
Okay, so that's when you divide it by 2. So one would take
45,
the green,
45, and then no. So they said, so we're taking. They were told green 45, gold 45. The list on a Disadel board was 27. Visual, they couldn't get enough
as
people.
of 9th of September,
After
when they had gone to check.
After regular placement and self-placement, they got 27 for visual.
Less than the 45
That's so unfair to the gentleman.
Absolutely.
And he came, and you know, he was traumatized. Had gone to one of the private schools, had been, you know, and I thought that, I mean, this one is hard luck. Or maybe somebody just didn't do the work well.
Yeah. Well, we're having this conversation, and the plan, really, we had invited, and there was agreement. The GES was supposed to bring a representative in the studio with the placement system to address some of the concerns and the challenges, but that person didn't show. However, we've raised on the phone line PRO of the Ghana Education Service, Cassandra Chum. Ampofu Chum, joining us on the phone, but you also can give us a call. Ohene Apau in Akomoda is joining us. Good morning. Hello, good morning, Ohene.
Good morning.
Yes, sir. Thank you for calling. Let's hear you.
Right. My daughter selected her best 5 schools, and she had a grade 7. And I would say that fortunately, she had her 3rd choice school, which is Agnes Wedro Secondary. And when we went to the school, I thought because she is coming from Achimpoza, she's going to be, she will be getting the boarding facility. But unfortunately, when we went there, she was placed as a day student. But you know what? I thought that the fault was coming from the computer, as we always say, that is computer selection. But when we did the verification, we saw that the problem was actually coming from my daughter, because I wasn't around supporting her when she was selecting her school. Okay. She made a mistake herself because she dotted for day student, as a day student for the Agnes Wedro. That's her 3rd choice. Oh. So in this incident, do I have to blame the placement, the school placement system, or I have to blame I as a parent?
Well, obviously.
So what I'm suggesting is that we should exercise patience. It is machine that is working. Let us exercise patience and be a little bit responsible as citizens of this country.
Okay, but I need you. No, wait, hang on. Don't hang up yet. I need you to tell us how you've resolved yours, so a parent who is watching and listening to us can follow what you did.
I also went to the Independence Square as it was reported.
Okay.
But I was also told that cannot be ratified because it has already been selected.
Okay.
So what I can do is that the only solution they could have for me is that they will look around Achimpoza area and see which school that there is vacancy, so that my ward can get admission there.
Okay.
And that too will be a day. And I understood perfectly. We should understand that we should exercise patience.
So let me ask you final one. Is your daughter on the green track? That is already in school?
Yeah, she's when the thing came, well, I didn't bother to check that. I was only more concerned on the day 2 and the blah 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 blah.
Okay.
So I have to cross check it.
Okay. All right. Oh, thank you very much for speaking to us about your own personal experience. And I do agree, some parents simply do not go through the process with their children. And so you'd realize that the fault is not because of the computer, as we say, but it's because parents didn't really guide their children, or they themselves didn't even understand the process.
Absolutely. Mama V, I met many people at the Independence School who had a similar challenge. I mean, they selected the schools themselves and selected the residential status also by themselves. So it's strange that now they show up and say because they live far away from where they've been placed, they need to have that changed. many of the people at the Independence Square on Monday had a similar problem, but they were told that there was nothing they could do about it. The only option is, as the man mentioned in the telephone conversation, they're going to choose. They're going to give you a school that is around where you live, where you can have a day status to attend. That's the only other option.
But that will take a while.
Yeah, but to change the same school that you are now from day to boarding, it won't happen.
That's impossible.
Yeah.
Let's speak to Max Milan in Hohoy. Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you for calling. Let's hear you.
Okay. Within school placement and why some parents are having problems is simply because some schools take protocol. So with the additional college, for instance, you see they were supposed to take 45 and they took 27. So the other remaining number will be used for protocol.
Okay, you seem to be talking from a place of knowledge.
Yeah.
So your background would help, or it's an assumption you're making?
I've been in a big SHS like that before.
Okay.
And
all right.
And I've seen incidents like that. And I myself have been someone who have paid to be able to attend the school.
You've benefited from the system before.
Exactly.
Okay.
So you're a protocol list benefit.
Exactly.
Okay, no,
Exactly.
just make your submission, Max Milan.
Okay, so with this, I just hope that the thing will change and rectify, and hope things will be good for other parents.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much for adding your voice to this conversation. You too can give us a call, 030221169-102. Do we have Cassandra on the line? Okay, good. Hello, Cassandra.
Hello, Mama V. Good morning.
Hi, good morning. You gave us Mark Sasu, who is with the computerized placement, to be in the studio to help us with this conversation, but he didn't show up.
I don't even know what to say. I've been trying to find myself.
I get it. Let's deal with the issues. As you were holding on, you had there was at least one parent who confessed that he didn't pay attention to what his daughter had done. So she had chosen day school instead of boarding, and that's why he's having the challenge today. I'm sure you've come across lots of parents like that. I'm wondering how you're dealing with that specific matter.
Yeah, thank you so much, Mama V, and good morning to your viewers. And with the education and sensitization of parents, in fact, we really did that extensively this year. And it's surprising and strange that still some parents, because we told them during, and Michaela will bear me out when we even wanted to come on your show to also use your platform to educate the public. But anyway, we went out, we went on the ground, and we told them that please find time and then go to your board school and be with them so that they choose the school that you yourself you are aware of. Because if you don't do that, when we are done with the placement, then that you would have to stop what you are doing, and then you spend hours and days in trying to resolve your child's issue. So that is a major issue, and then we'll keep on. I know next year, for what we have seen, we are not going to relent. We'll keep on educating and sensitizing the parents to be part, to be committed, because you can't just leave the selection of the schools to only your work. And sometimes they do that with their friends.
Cassandra.
Sometimes they do it with their teachers.
Yeah.
And it becomes a problem. So we need parents to also be part of this process. So they should stop what they are doing, whatever. If they are even working, you can even take a leave. So that you ensure that your ward takes the good school or the right school that you want, so that at the end of the day you won't come and say that he or she has been placed. Because for us, what you give to us is what we place.
Yeah.
We do not place, or the computer does not place students in schools that they did not choose. It doesn't happen.
Yeah. Cassandra, just hold your thought for me. Let's speak to Aziz. I'll come back to you. Aziz, good morning.
Good morning, madam.
Thank you for holding. Let's hear you.
Madam, it's good we discuss this issue. Hello?
Aziz, I can hear you. Kindly turn down the volume on that television set. Please turn down the volume on your TV set so we can speak through the phone. Otherwise, there will be that feedback and the conversation will drag. Okay, so
is it okay?
Yes, it is. Go ahead.
Yeah. I'm saying that it's good we discuss these issues. I'm calling from Yendi. I don't have much problem with this, but it's like if government will have a second thought over the free SHS. there are parents who can pay for their awards. And you know, in Ghana here, we all want quality.
Yeah, but Aziz, haven't we gone past that? I mean, this is the government policy. They are not going to reverse it.
I know students who choose the same school, and someone hadn't aggregate 30 was able to place at that school, and someone having made 14 was not able to get that school. And they all choose the same school. So I wonder why it should be so. So we're thinking if those who can pay, government can allocate some schools that if you wish to go, you go and pay and what will go.
Okay, that's a suggestion.
It's better than just pushing here and there, people running up and down, searching for schools, because we all need quality. That's the issue. So if government will have a second thought over this free SHS, then it's able to do that. It will help with the parents, and all this Kula Balu will stop.
Okay.
Aziz, I think that's my opinion.
Aziz Muhammad, thank you very much. He called from Yendi. Cassandra, there's another issue of students who went to the school, bought the items. My colleague Komla Adom was just sharing about this young lady who showed up at the Black Star Square. She had actually gone to the school, slept there, and the following morning she was told a new list had come. It didn't have her name on it, so she had to leave. So she was at the Black Star Square with her chop box and all the items, and in the uniform. What happens to persons like that?
Mama, I'm finding it difficult to believe this particular one because school reopened on the 15th. And it was just last week that on Thursday that I issued a statement that all those who did I'm sure this particular problem is part of self-placement issues that we had. That all those who did self-placement between 9th and 11th, that's last week Monday to Wednesday, they were to do again because we had a slight challenge with the self-placement model. And so they had to, so you realize they were placing themselves into the schools, but it wasn't really getting affected on the school system.
But Cassandra, you're assuming that all these people saw your press release.
You know what? Apart from that, when you go to the school, and for the fact that Komla is saying the girl went to school and even slept there, school reopened on the 15th. It was even Sunday, so 16th, Monday. Today is Wednesday. Was when I would say that officially they went to school. So when did they go to sleep? And before the girl would even go there, we had even announced it, and the schools were aware. So when you go there, they will even tell you that, no, we had a problem, or EES manifest says that you should go and do the self-placement again. Because it happened between Monday and Wednesday. All those who did self-placement from Thursday coming onwards, everything is perfect and it's fine. So when did the girl do the self-placement? When did she even go to the school to sleep? Because school reopened on Monday. So I find it a bit difficult to believe that. And of course, it happened, yes. Some people went to the schools and they claimed that they even took prospectus. The prospectus, I tell you, we even have a standard prospectus because if your word is going to be in the boarding house, there are basic things that cut across. You'll have your mattress, your pillow, your bucket, your whatever, the trunk and the chopboard everywhere. So even if there's a problem with the self-placement, you've asked you to go and do it again, and you have to go and do it again. Whatever school that you select again, if it's not the same school that you had, you can take the items because the main ones, the school uniform, the books, and the church cloth, everything, the main things that you need has been covered by government and in senior high school. So the things on the can be used in any school.
So, Cassandra, don't worry about that. Kamala is trying to pull the conversation. We'll play it back so we can all hear it. There's also Roland, who's also been to the square, on 2 of the days, Monday and Tuesday, a bit earlier. He also shares, the story of somebody who got admission into Adisadel to do visual arts. They got the prospectus, bought the things, went, and again, the same issue. A new list had arrived. It didn't have his name on, and so he had to leave. Is it are you addressing this the same way you addressed the earlier Roland? Maybe I'm not telling the story well. Can you share with Cassandra?
Well, Cassandra, so the story is that they had on the board 27. They were told by officials of Adisadel that they would need at least 45 for visual arts placement, at least for each of the tracks. And he was assuming, even after the refreshment or going again after the mistake, they will still get placement. So it will mean that visual arts placement in Adisadel had not been full, or is still not full.
Cassandra, are you following?
Yes, I don't know if I heard it right. He said the person was to do visual arts in Adisadel and went and the name was not in, right?
Okay, no. The person was to do visual arts. He got there. His name was there. In fact, the number was less than what the school had requested for, which was 45. But the number, including his name at the time, was 27. But he went to buy it. They went to buy the items, got back the following day, and they were told there was a new list which did not have his name on it.
Okay, then I think that it will definitely be part of the self-placement issues because they were the only ones that had problems. You know, when after doing the self-placement, they went to school and their names could not be found. So I think I would address it the same way as I did for the first one.
Okay, so before you continue,
because all those who were placed in school, I mean, in schools automatically or by the automatic placement system, and had no problem. Unless this is a special case, which probably will treat it as such. So Roland, kindly forward to me on WhatsApp the candidate detail if you have, so that we'll look at it.
I doubt he does because this was random interaction with people at the Black Star Square. But Komla,
but Cassandra, don't worry, I'll bring you some candidate names.
No. That's corruption. That's what we don't want to encourage. Okay, Komla, Cassandra, Komla would tell you about his experience. Okay, so just listen.
Yes, so Cassandra, this young lady I spoke to, she was the one I was saying that showed up on campus on Sunday with her staff. In fact, they were fed on Sunday. They had a place to sleep, but on Monday they were told a new list has come and then they should leave.
Can we listen? Okay.
The way forward.
We went on Sunday, and they sacked some of them on Sunday, that very day. Monday, when this early morning, we was going to dine, and they called us that we should come back to the office. When we went, they told us they are bringing a new placement of students in. So those who came on Sunday, we should go back home, and a new placement of students to get in.
Okay, so you were one of those who were there yesterday. So you were even almost settling. You had put everything there, your chop box and everything, only to be told that you should go home.
Yes, please.
So what explanation exactly did they give for the new placement list that is coming, for which you people should leave? So do you ask questions when they say you should leave?
The mistress showed us the list. Those who came there, their grade was very bad, 35. The highest was 31. The rest are 35, 32, 50 above. And those who went on Sunday, we should come back home.
Okay, Cassandra, are you watching television or you're listening to us using the phone?
I'm listening to you.
Okay, so if you get the opportunity to watch, and we will upload this on YouTube. So this is Komla at the Black Star Square interacting with this young lady, and she shows us the registration form. This is Diasporan Girls Senior High, and then she's telling us just what Komla had said earlier. What you found, a bit unbelievable is actually real, according to the young lady.
Yes, I'm surprised because if you have been placed, I don't know if the young lady was placed there automatically or by the automatic placement system. If it was, then I'm surprised that should happen. And I'm really finding it difficult to believe and understand this particular situation. Again, if I see the placement form, I would be able to.
Okay, so maybe Cassandra, this would help. On what basis would the school give you admission? You know, like admission letter. On what basis would they give you that?
When you are placed in the school, you go to the school and your name is found on the school list. Then it means that, or it tells the school that indeed you have paid. Because you don't or you can't go there with your placement form alone. You have to also cross-check from the list they have received from our end. So if your name is found on the list, then you begin the admission process. And that's where the admission letters and all others come in.
Okay, so this young lady actually shows us in that conversation her admission from the school. She's been offered to do business. We're just putting the...
Because Diasporan is not even one of the oversubscribed senior high schools. And definitely they even need people. So I'm very surprised that this young lady will go and then she'll be asked to come back. It's not one of, I mean, I thought they were talking about the oversubscribed schools like the Wesley, the Holy Child, but Diasporan is not one of them.
Okay.
Right. It's
Well,
even one of our categories, schools. And I'm very surprised that we would even ask a lady to do it.
But Cassandra, I see this on the form though. There's normal single track. I mean, at the track place, what are they supposed to write?
At the track place, they are supposed to write either green, blue, or single.
Okay.
But those who did self-placement between Monday and then when that's the 9th and then 11th, they realized that they had no track. Some even did not have courses on their placement form. So that's the problem. So we identified, and so we have to be shut the system down on Wednesday and then open it again on Thursday.
Okay, Cassandra,
so
who
good
places
placement
you?
form.
Who places you? So on this admission form, where it's coming from this specific school, the Diaspora Girls Senior High School, is it the school that would give you the track?
It is not the school. The system by itself gives you the track.
Okay. Okay. You know what?
But
We'll forward this particular details to you so you can check.
All right, Mama B. There are schools that do not do double track. You know, we have 721 senior high schools. Not all. Close to 400 are on double track. So the remaining schools that are not on double track obviously do single track. And so if you find yourself in such schools, then it means that you will not even be on any track.
Oh, okay.
But you will just be single. So just be single.
Okay, all right. So I guess maybe this is one of those cases. We'll forward the details to you. Cassandra, hopefully we can have time with you or any of your officials in the studio so we can properly address this. But for today, we thank you. This is how best we could manage the situation. That's Cassandra Chum Ampofo. She speaks for the Ghana Education Service. Earlier, when we had planned this conversation, we're supposed to have a representative of the computerized placement system, Mr. Mark Sasu, in the studio. But as you can well tell, he didn't show up. All right, guys.
And it's not as if I'm complimenting what the Education Service is saying, but I think that as parents, we have to be realistic. You know the strength of your ward academically. So you should take interest in the schools that they choose, so that you already don't go and overburden an overburdened Class A school. Because already the numbers of the passes that get to the Class A schools or the Category A schools are already over the numbers, several hundreds of percentages. So look at the strength of your ward and then take interest in the schools that they choose. We know that because of many other related factors, the ward themselves would want. But we also know that our strengths of our children are in certain areas or maybe perhaps not wholesome.
But Roland, I agree largely with you, but I don't think anybody goes into an exam and they tell themselves that I'm going to fail. I may have plans. I want to go to Infantiman Girls. I may not know that I won't make the grades. I mean, I'm going with all the vim, and I know I'm going to write and pass and go to Infantiman Girls. But genuinely, I don't make the required grade. But I've already chosen the school.
No, I'm saying this based purely on the interactions I've had with those that have had difficulties with the placements. And it's because you speak to the candidate themselves or the student themselves, and you could gauge that the strength of that student. Generally, this
does not fit the school that
no, this could be the outcome when you go and write an external examination. Sometimes we have to be realistic. I know that this one is.
That's why I said I largely agree with you, but I'm saying that there are other instances.
No, there are exceptions.
Where you want to.
We're not talking about the exception. I'm talking so that you reduce.
You want to go to Bishop Herman, for instance. Yeah, and you write the exam. In fact, you've chosen the school. You sit for the exam, but you don't make the grade. But you've already chosen the school.
I think the other thing, lesson we're drawing from all of this is when we are selecting the schools, we have to pay a lot more attention to the detailing, the residential status. Are we selecting day status, even though we know the school is far away? Are we just selecting because we just have an option and we have to choose it? These are some of the outcomes.
And you know what? Parents, guardians must not leave this to the students or to authorities of the school, which is usually the case, because they say that, oh, the school knows the child better. They know the strength. They can help them select the schools. But I think because at this time when you're looking for a school, when they place your child wrongly, it's not the school authorities, the JHS school that you went to, it's not the headmaster or the head teacher or the teachers who's going to help you find a place for your child. So it's your responsibility as a parent. You must take interest in it. We have to leave this conversation here, but it's still very much a developing story. So we'll continue the conversation, God willing, tomorrow. But coming up next is our biggest housing fair, called the JoyNews Habitat Fair. Is brought to us in kind collaboration with Elegant Homes and Supersem Cement. This year is happening this weekend from Friday to Sunday at the Accra International Conference Center. We've already done 2 mini clinics. It was so helpful. One of the things associated with our fair is the time that our exhibitors have, and they bring people with the experience and with the specialty to give you advice and to also give you direction. So it's not just about asking you to come and spend money, but also spend good time and get good guidance if you're building, if you're looking for a home to buy, if you're looking for a land to buy, one that won't bring you challenges, then that's the place to be. We have conversations with some of our exhibitors in the studio next here on the show.